What's up, guys? Welcome back to Apocalypse Movies. Jake and Brian here for our official review of Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, the new Netflix movie from Andy Serkis, based on the actual Jungle Book itself, not the animated film from decades ago, as well as Jon Favreau's CGI live-action remake a couple years ago. This is definitely a different movie. This is supposed to follow the book more closely than those other movies did. And it's a very different kind of telling of this Jungle Book story. Features all the characters we know and love. Obviously, Mowgli, it follows him and the wolf pack that he grows up with. It has Shere Khan in there. It has Bagheera. It has Baloo. It has all those characters we know and love. But this is a completely different style of movie. Brian and I haven't talked about it too much. We saw it a couple days ago. So we don't really know each other's thoughts. For myself, I wasn't extremely excited for this like I was the Jungle Book. I don't know what it really was. I don't think, honestly, it wasn't really marketed all that great.
It wasn't marketed, period.
Yeah,
almost.
and I know it's a Netflix movie and those movies don't really get a ton of marketing, but this is a pretty high profile movie because, one, Andy Serkis is directing. Two, the cast is outrageous.
The voice cast.
Outrageous.
Holy.
But I never really got like my excitement to the level I really wanted it to. Not to say I didn't like the movie, but it just didn't live up to kind of what I was hoping it would live up to.
Oh, see, I kind of felt like it just, like, it hit my expectations. It didn't exceed it, and it didn't go lower. Like, it almost was kind of like what I expected.
Okay, that's fair. What were, because, I mean, obviously this movie hinges on the voice cast a lot of the time. Out of the ones that we know of, Christian Bale, Cate Blanchett, you have Benedict Cumberbatch in there, Jack Rayner makes an appearance as Mowgli's little brother. Which ones were kind of the ones that stood out to you the most? Andy Serkis as Baloo, of course.
Cate Blanchett, when she opens up
Kaa.
the movie, holy crap, her voice was like chilling, and then you see the snake moving through.
I love the way she looks. The snake looks fantastic.
Yeah, the snake looked really good. What am I? I just lost
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale.
You have Andy Serkis.
Benedict Cumberbatch
as Shere Khan. He's too perfect for the role. Too perfect.
It was he wasn't in it as much as like.
It was definitely focused on Mowgli.
Yeah,
which makes complete sense. It's a Mowgli story.
But every single time he just started talking, you're just like, oh my god, it's chilling. He was awesome. Although it did sound like Smog.
That, and one of our buddies who watched it with us, he mentioned that. And I don't like comparing and whatever it is, but let's compare it to Idris Elba as Shere Khan in Jon Favreau's version. They obviously used that character a little bit more. That character was in the movie hinged on Shere Khan.
They both are fantastic Shere Khans. Benedict
Cumberbatch definitely fits the role better because of his voice, and the way the film is kind of laid out. This Shere Khan is completely and 100% more menacing than the one in the Jungle Book movie.
Yeah, he is a bad guy.
It's what he does and what he's capable of doing and what he's willing to do is pretty awful. And so
he wants the taste of human blood all the time.
Yes, and I appreciated that because it's something we haven't seen before.
It's dark.
It's very dark, and there's definitely moments where you're like, "Whoa!" One of them is when Mowgli's brother. The white cub, the albino cub.
Are we going spoiler?
It's going to be in the title, so they definitely know ahead of time. But that is the most gut-wrenching part of this movie, and gut-wrenching part of a movie I've seen in a while.
It was
because it's an animal.
It was like Okja.
Yeah.
Where it just like kicks you in the gut, and you're like, oh my god, like, why? Like, that just hurts you.
It's crazy. So outside of that, the effects of this movie, obviously, it hinges on special effects because it's a live-action version of the story. I liked the way everything else looked, other than Baloo. I was kind of iffy on Baloo, the kind of way he looked, because he looked very creepy.
He looked very creepy. He looked very CGI faked, and his face, almost all you could see it in a bunch of them, but especially his, you could see Andy Serkis' face.
Interesting. I didn't really feel that way.
His face and
Christian Bale?
I think it was
Jack Rayner?
Yeah, I think it was... No, I don't remember who it was. So someone's face, I was like, oh, you could see that that's their face.
Interesting.
Like, it'll come to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, the voice cast is outstanding. Overall, I think that the movie... if you like the Jungle Book story, if you're interested
It's
in
entertaining.
it's definitely entertaining. It's a different tale, like we had mentioned before. It follows the original book, and so it's very different from what we know with these normal Jungle Book movies. I did like the actor who played him.
Mowgli?
Yeah, I forget
he
his
was
name.
great.
He was really good, and because the role definitely demanded more than the original Jungle Book movie did, like a couple
Big
years
time.
ago.
He was the movie, and he played it really. You've definitely like felt when he was like being torn between the human world and the animal world, and the way his character was kind of like just torn. He played that part really good and emotional. I liked him. He honestly made the movie a little bit for me
Because he's, and I don't know if this is exact, but he's basically in every frame. I think he would probably be in almost every frame, and so and the fact that he had to act either against like a picture or someone in a motion capture suit for that age is pretty remarkable. I did like the little thing at the end with the guy from The Americans, which I'm forgetting his name. His part at the end of the film, a dark turn for that character in a way too, and so which is very interesting. And then it also ends in a very dark way. Spoiler: Mowgli stabs Shere Khan in the head, which is crazy to think about for this story, but it does happen.
The pack leader too.
That's true.
Yeah.
That I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, and you love the elephants.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. So I love. So we had. I talked about this when we watched it, but when Jon Favreau did the Jungle Book, I love the way that he used the elephants in the movie and how he kind of used that like ancient being style character and how it used to Mowgli. But the look of these elephants is remarkable, and then the whole thing with the tusk too,
especially
was very
the
cool.
older, that one
Like
specific
mossy and
mossy
everything?
one. That one, it was almost like a dinosaur. Like it was like majestic.
Yeah, and they through the entire movie they talked about how long the jungle had been there and how long it'll be there
Ka
afterwards.
had been there before
Since it had been
and her
there.
story was different, which I did not mind.
It very much was,
because it would have taken away. It kind of would have drawn out. She still kept that lingering bad guy-ish character, but it was used differently, and it was used well with the story.
And I think that played off the fact that it was focused on Mowgli.
Yeah.
And which is when we talked about it while we were watching the movie, but the Monkey King wasn't in there.
Yeah, the Monkey King wasn't in there.
And it makes sense as to why he wasn't, because it was focused on Mowgli versus Shere Khan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the entire story.
The Monkey King, I think, would have taken away from it, too.
I agree. So, overall, I think that we both can say that we enjoyed the movie. Brian, it definitely hit his expectations. It was a little bit lower for me. I think it's worth watching.
Oh, definitely.
Especially because it's on Netflix. Everyone's pretty much subscribed to Netflix. Go and pop it on when you don't have anything to watch. Because I don't think it's run terribly long either. It's like 2 hours.
I think it was 2 hours flat.
2 hours exactly, which is not terrible for a movie these days. And so,
And it went by, it seemed by, like, it flowed fast.
yeah, there were no really dead spots. Something was always really happening. So, if you have seen Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle, head down in the comments. Let us know what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you think it should have been kept with Warner Brothers in a theatrical release? Do you think it was better to be on Netflix? That's definitely something we can have a conversation about. Brian obviously agrees with that statement. Head to apocalypsemovies.com, this YouTube channel as well, for everything else in movies. For Brian, for myself, thank you again for joining us on a review of Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, and we'll see you guys next time.